Greetings, Internet. Welcome to Aaron Plays. In this episode, we are continuing our struggle in Russia Besieged. It is the September-October turn for the Axis. And as you can see, I will now move the turn marker. The Axis will gain some reinforcements. That's denoted here. This symbol here denotes that they will receive some replacements. Okay, so let's move that out of the way. I've already turned over the air units. That's one of the first things that's done. But I would also at this point like to correct a misconception of mine. I believed that there would be some sea supply with these ports, especially with regards to Riga. I left some Soviet Russian units in Riga and also in Odessa. Believing that the Germans or the Axis would have to take those out. However, that's not the case. There is no sea supply rules per se. They are in major cities, so they will withstand for a while, but will eventually be eliminated if the supply routes are actually cut. So with that in mind, I will keep the Odessa garrison as is, but the Riga motorized unit would not have remained there. So it was, I can't even remember exactly where it was located, but I'm going to put it back there. It would hopefully have got back there, and then in its second movement base, he's got back there to help garrison that position. So that's the only correction that I'd like to make at that point. So the first big thing that happens in the turn is the weather. We have a weather table here. We'll be rolling for, well, we make one die roll. This is the turn September, October, and it will depend on the weather in each impulse. We know in September it's going to be clear, so the first impulse is fine, but the second impulse is important. So remembering that when I roll the dice, we're looking at up over here. You can see my mouse. The dice appears in the toolbar. And here's the weather roll. It is a 2. So we know that it's going to be clear for both impulses, which definitely aids the Axis cause. So clear weather the entire turn. What are the Axis going to do? Well, kill Soviet units, effectively. They've really got to keep ahead of the Soviet reinforcement and replacement rate. The Soviets are going to get this turn, 16 more units. So ideally, the Germans need to kill as many of the existing units on the board to hopefully maintain the momentum. The Finns are pretty much out of it for the time being. They took out the 2 units over here, but in so doing, reduce every unit they actually have. So they can be used here to shore up and stop any Russian aggression towards them, but that is about it. Riga needs to fall, ideally, as quickly as possible, because the Germans are going to, or the Axis, I keep saying Germans, Axis, Germans, is going to be interchangeable, need to push towards capturing Leningrad as quickly as possible, and obviously carry on pushing towards Moscow. But it's the destruction of the Russian units. And again, I'll use Russian, Soviet, Russian interchangeably, which I think is the paramount need here. So with that in mind, the next step in the sequence of play.
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
So it's the Germans' first movement phase, which also allows them to bring in any reinforcements that they have, which they do have 2 in set 255 infantry corps. Let's put those onto the map, ready to be brought in. And remember, they don't count towards the rail capacity for the turn. So I'll put them on the map edge here, ready to be brought in. So the first impulse, is there a chance that we can create a pocket? This particular unit looks a bit weak, but that's in horrible terrain. Possibly with the armor coming through here and around here. But again, the further they go in, the further they get stretched. So, okay. Where are the armored forces? So we have I think is going to be the push on Moscow, the movement up to Leningrad, and see what damage we can do in and around the Soviet forces here. Okay, as in a lot of these front games, in the initial push, the infantry lagging behind to effectively help in the attacks. But let's see what we can actually do. All right, so we'll start remembering zones of control do extend across rivers. So we'll move out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, effectively cutting off Riga from there. Two, 3, 4, 5. Yes, plus one movement point to cross the river. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that allows, let's clone that marker and then flip that. So the construction, now that every hex of that route has been gone through, we'll go up to there. And at the end of the turn, that will then be a completed rail line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So as you can see, most of the infantry would not be involved in anything that's done to the Soviets during the first, at least the first impulse. And in the second impulse, let me just bring up the movement tables. Yeah, the German infantry can only move 2 movement points. First impulse, full movement. Second impulse, 2 movement points. Okay. So where's the big attack going to come? Well, I'm going to try and do it here, because we can at least get some of this infantry involved in the actual attack. Because these can go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Actually, one of those infantry will go to there to at least put us under control on this without using up an armor. Do so. This infantry then can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, just extending the on that railhead, flip it, so the construction goes to there at the present moment. The top. Okay, 2, 4, and again, clone that counter, flip it, that goes to there. Top. 2, 4, 5, clone, flip, construct. All right, okay. Can we mount any sort of attack on that with infantry? 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3. Well, it's one additional for the river, 4, 5 to there. Okay. So generally speaking, the answer is not really. Are we going to be able to mount any sort of decent attack again here? Soviets, Russians have managed to fall back sufficiently to keep out the pace of the German infantry at present moment. So whatever attack is going to go in is going to be done by the armour. Remember, anything across the river, which is here, will be doubled on the defence. So saying we need to get through. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. We're looking at this. This hex here has got defence of 8, so that's going to be 16. That's where we're going. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 6. 7. 1, 2, 3. So I'm not going to sit here and bean count. I know if I was probably playing this face to face, I'd probably spend a bit more time on calculating exact odds, getting the but that's not going to be very conducive to a decent video. So this infantry is going to be doing the railway 2, 3, 4, 5. And 2, 3, 4, 5. So that gets this rail going. We've got a unit there, so it gets it to Kiev. Under construction. And we might as well. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. That gets the construction, all this whole rail network now. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this armored unit in Kiev. We can leave Kiev empty because we can move in there during the second movement impulse with the infantry. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2. Can't move from there to there because that's a zone of control to zone of control, which can't do. 2, 3, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, well, remember you've got to attack. I don't really want to mount an attack on here yet. I haven't got the strength. But I do not want the armored unit in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can't get involved in an attack, but at least it's around here ready for the second impulse, where we hopefully will be able to mount an attack on. And I think I mentioned in the last video, I'm not sure how to pronounce this town, Dnep, Rop, Petrovsk. So probably slaughtered that, but hey ho. So to the southern front, we're going to have the Romanians invest Odessa, not, well, as they're adjacent to it, they're going to attack it. I keep forgetting these rules. That's a good point. Let me go back to Riga. Yes, by placing that unit there, I'm committing to an attack on Riga. With units on this side of the river, no attack is necessary because you don't have to attack across the river. But here, they would. Now he was stacked here, 1, 2, 3. That unit there is cutting off the supply here. So we don't need to bring that unit here. So moving in from back from here. It's little subtleties of the rules like that, you know, got to watch out for. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So his supply is still cut off, and no attack is necessary there. So now going back to Odessa, we don't want to move adjacent, but we want to cut, because we move adjacent, we must attack. And those in that city, I mean, there's 10, that's 20 in defense. Don't want to attack that. But we do need to cut its supply off. So keeping one unit here, stop them doing anything cheeky. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get the Italians involved and move that unit to there. Right, that means we've released. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5. So the infantry just cannot keep up. Remaining armor 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Until Odessa is taken, or falls, because they're now going to be out of supply. This rail link here, from here to here, then along this route cannot be built. So the Germans are getting the supply from this area, currently from this rail line here. Again, can't be built along, even though we've moved along here, it's still in zones of control of the Soviet units there. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Right, those 2 units I'm going to bring in by rail to support down here. One can come into that hex there, and the other one, the furthest it can come in, you know what, I'm going to bring them both down to this area here. Right, Finns, we'll just move up to invest Leningrad. There's the German unit in support there. Okay, so that just leaves the bulk of the armor from Army Group North and Center. Okay, so we want to get an attack, decent attack coming in here, and we've actually got to attack that hex there as well because we've moved adjacent to it. And we're going to attack here. So I'm going to mark the hexes that we must attack with these counters here. So the odds won't be reflective or correct at this point. That's a good point. By moving adjacent to that one, we're going to attack it. Don't really want to do that. So let's move him back to where I was going to originally put him, which was there. So we've got to attack this hex, this hex, this hex, and this hex at the present moment. Is that correct? Can't see anywhere else. Apart from I just moved next adjacent to Leningrad, I'll have to attack it. So we're not going to do that. So my bad. Let's move those back. Yeah, we're not going to attack Leningrad. Yeah. Got to remember it, zones of control. Must attack. Okay, so that's the areas that we are committing to attack. Now let's move the armor to see how best we can do that. Okay, so I'm going to need to stage some of these air units because they're not going to be in range in this impulse. These ones here. Now, a major city such as Kiev can hold up to 4 aircraft shelters. So I'm staging those to Kiev. That means I need to flip to show that they can't be used in this first impulse. Okay, oops, this one here should have been that was the beginning of the turn. So that's, they can stage up to 18 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's to that. Split that. Okay. I don't think these guys are in range of anything because they can give ground support up to 9 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, they're out of range. Okay. That means we've got available for this first impulse just 3 ground support aircraft. That's, to be honest, poor play. Yeah, okay. So we might as well stage another one of these then over to here. Onto the Russian unit. That's staged. That's the 4 aircraft that can be based from there, available for the second impulse, which we know is clear. So that's good. So these can go into major and minor cities. We haven't been into Smolensk yet. But if we go into Smolensk during the movement phase, we can base straight to there. So that's what we will do. One of the armored units. One, two, three, 4, 5. Smolensk is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this connection now we move to there. And we can rebase this air unit. Right, stage the air unit to Smolensk. Smolensk is controlled. And therefore the aircraft's ready in the second, will be available in the second impulse. Okay. So we've got a defense of 12 here, and currently attacking it, we've got 15 and 9. 24. So that's currently only 2 to 1. I'm really not sure about that there. Didn't need to move that infantry unit there. So let's keep him back there. So we don't need to do that attack. Against this stack, we have 9, and currently we have 12, 17. All right, so that's now okay. So currently we have 18, 22, 23, my bad. 23 plus 18, 33, 43, 41. 41 to 9. That's 41. We need 5 more, which we can't get by unless we go into that hex or that hex to get that to 5 to 1. So no. Unless we do a soak off attack here. Two, three, four, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can get this armor down to here. So currently it's 2 to 1. How much have we got here? 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can get another 15 there. So we've got 8 and 7 is 15. That'd be 30. So it'll be 3 to 1. So let's get these 2 armor down there. 1 into that hex, and 1 into that hex there to change that to a 3 to 1. So that's definitely not occurring. All right, quarter on 3 to 1. And here, defense is 16, and currently attacking it, we've got 12, 18. And so my mental mass just doesn't add up. 7 plus 9 plus 8. Okay, so after bringing out the calculator, this works out at 2 to 1. We don't have to attack there because it's across the river. We're not forced to attack there. So we could wait until the Stukas come in. But that's slowing everything down. So swings and roundabouts. I'll think about that. Right, so anything else left to move? Yeah, these boys at the back here. Catch up. 2, 4. Actually, now extends that to there. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we'll keep the police in Minsk. This unit here. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Right. I think that is the movement phase. Now, where do we commit? We have 3 Stukas available. I did send this Stuka originally over here to support these attacks this turn, but they're not going to happen because the Finns took heavier casualties. So I'm going to relocate this one back. I know, very inefficient, but here we go. It goes back to Minsk. So it will be available in the second impulse. Okay. So let's allocate 1 here. Make that 5 to 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it's too far away. Maybe the attack would have been better coming in here. Again, if I was going to micromanage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Would have got some air support, but that would have weakened these two. So we're going to send one here and another one here. Reset to 5 to 1. Okay. That's the air allocation. So we now move to the combat phase. So let's do this attack here. So 5 to 1. Now I am eligible to do this as a blitz attack. So let's have a look at my results table. So at 5 to 1, we could with a 6 get DE. And even better still, with an 8 DE with a star. A star means they surrender. We don't get much push. Whereas 5 to 1 on the blitz table, we could get a further advance. But we do have the second impulse where we get that advance. So I think 5 to 1 on the standard table. Now looking at the DRMs, we have armor versus non-armor. No, there's armor involved there, both sides. No DRMs there. How many generals do the Germans still avail? They still have 3. Let's bring Kleist into the equation, giving them +1. 5 to 1 +1. Yeah, let's go with that. All right, so bring the combat results table up. 5 to 1 with the +1. Here's the result. It's an 8 becomes a 9. DE star. Let's see what happens there. So those are all units are eliminated. If they'd been surrounded, they would have surrendered, but they're not currently surrounded. So DE, all defending units X are eliminated. Replacement pool. Now let's check the advance. Okay, so the Germans can advance into that hex. All right, we will put some infantry in there and some armor. There we go. All right, so that to the side. Turn the air unit. Used. And Kleist in use for the year. Okay, so that was a successful attack. All right, so this one, they do get a modifier of +1 for the armor. Again, we're not going to go for blitz table, just the standard combat results table. So 5 to 1 with a +1. 5 becomes a 6. Good enough. DE. They are removed to placement pool. And again, advance 1 infantry. Actually, we won't advance infantry, we'll advance all armor. Okay, let's return these. Back to the base. And that's removed. Okay. 2 to 1. We have got armor involved, so it's a +1 modifier. And we're going to put Manstein in to aid that. It is going in 2 to 1 +2. However, there is a river. Is that a -1? Put the RMs. Major, all defenders behind the river is a -1. Okay, so it's a net +1 then, with Manstein involved. Okay, let's bring up the combat results table. This is a bit dodgy, but here we go. Come on, boys. Attacker AR. Attacker retreats all attacking units 1 or 2 hexes at his discretion. Didn't get across. Bounced off. Even with Manstein. He's now using that means the Germans have only got 1 leader left for this actual year. Okay. And that's the combat done.
Sorry. Okay,
I've been conscious of the length of particularly the axis turns in these videos. So I'm going to pause and end this video at this point, just as we're getting ready for the second impulse of this turn. So hope you enjoyed what you've seen so far. Again, errors, I know, I apologize. It is quite a complex game playing solo. If there had been an obvious opponent, they could point out any obvious mistakes and gotchas. I need to check the rules on these rail conversions. I think they are now converted at this point, but I will double check that before the next video. So yeah, so if you've enjoyed what you've seen and you're still following me this far, hit that like button. Again, likes does help the algorithm. So as many likes as possible will be appreciated. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Or again, always helps the channel. Yeah, thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye, Internet.